Three pairs of hot confrontation match Vietnam vs Indonesia. The semi-final second leg between Vietnam and Indonesia will be very tense. To win, both sides need to use strategic cards, and here are three clashes between the two most important cards. Van Hao vs Nai Mangkualam. It seems that Indonesia has been making a general attack towards Don Van Hao. The press constantly digs up old stories, and coach Shin Tae-yong goes on social media to criticize the left back of the Vietnamese team. This is not exactly a feud, but the intention is to psychologically affect Van Hao, one of the players who is playing very well at the AF Cup. Indonesians are concerned and see it clearly after Vietnam's 3-0 win over Malaysia. They also see the difficulty when they have to stop a player as strong and persistent as Hao. Most likely, coach Shin Tae-yong will again use a home player with nothing but health like Asnai. The former captain of U23 Indonesia is rich in physical strength, and also has a lot of tricks. When needed, he can play a worker who is willing to stick around and inhibit the opponent. In the first leg, he was more or less successful when facing Van Hao, but in the second leg, everything will be different because at this time, the Indonesian central defenders will have to keep an eye on their left wing, where coach Park Hang-seo can throw Ho Tan Tai into the field from the very beginning. Tien Dung vs Yaakob Sayuri. Yaakob Sayuri is one of Indonesia's best players in the first leg. Technique, speed, and the ability to occupy space have helped Yaakob Sayuri to overcome his limited physique, only 1m70 tall. The player who plays for the famous team PSM Makassar is also the one who caused the most waves of trouble for Dang Van Lam with his ingenious dashes into the middle or through people in the first leg. Arranging Yaakob Sayuri to kick the right midfield is also the way that coach Shin Tae-yong wants to reduce the pressure on the down line. Coach Park Hang-seo will probably also have calculations to limit the danger of Yaakob Sayuri. In addition to building a tight defense system, the three central defenders of Vietnam will play more alert. In particular, Bui Tien Dung's left-sided center-back position will often confront Yaakob Sayuri. In the first leg, it can be said that Tien Dung has completed the task well, but there are still 90 minutes to wait for this player to prove his bravery. Hwang Duc vs Mark Klok. Out of the four Indonesian midfielders, Mark Klok plays as a cleaner. Above Ferdinand, left, Rahmat Arianto and Yaakob Sayuri, right, take charge of the attack. Mark Klok will often face Hwang Duc, and this is also a significant position that determines the success or failure of the two teams. The naturalized midfielder of Indonesia is playing quite well at this year's AF Cup thanks to his good judgment and interception ability. In the first leg, Hwang Duc or the midfielders of Vietnam could not shine, partly Mark Klok did his job too well. However, on my din there may be a different scenario. Mark Klok admits, this is indeed not an ideal result for Indonesia. The second leg, Indonesia must win or at least draw with a score of 1-1. 2-2. However, Mark Klok emphasized his team is ready for a tough match in Vietnam. Hwang Duc's side was also upbeat, and the player was also determined to create opportunities for himself and his teammates to score.